Imagine a world without money. Every item you want must be exchanged for something you own. Need bread? You'll have to find someone who has bread and, hopefully, wants your coat. This was the barter system. Primitive, direct, yet highly inefficient. There was no reliable way to store value or fairly measure the worth of goods. But from this simple exchange system, the seeds of money were sown. It was the beginning of something revolutionary. The birth of a tool that would transform civilizations and power economies for millennia to come. As society advanced, people began using items that were rare and useful to exchange. Salt, spices, cowrie shells, cacao beans. These were known as commodity money. They held intrinsic value and were widely accepted. In Africa, cowrie shells were even used to buy and sell slaves. Though basic, this was a monumental step forward. For the first time, value was determined by social consensus rather than mere need. This transition laid the foundation for systems of trust, a principle that remains at the heart of modern money. However, problems soon emerged. When commodities became too abundant, their value dropped. Beautiful as they were, cowrie shells lost power once everyone had access to them. Inflation wasn't born yesterday, it has ancient roots. The answer? Use something more scarce, more durable, and easily divisible: precious metals. Gold and silver sparked a financial revolution, offering stability, portability, and consistent worth. Humanity had found its next currency, one that glittered and endured through the ages. Precious metals could be minted into coins, each with standardized weight and purity. Emperors stamped their image onto them, turning coins into symbols of authority. Gold became not just money, but power. These coins were traded across silk roads and oceans, connecting empires. But as trade expanded, people felt the weight, literally. Carrying heaps of gold was cumbersome and risky, and so the next innovation emerged, a lightweight substitute for a heavy truth. Enter paper money. At first, it wasn't money in itself, but a receipt. A promise that you had gold stored safely in a vault. You could walk into a market with a note instead of heavy coins, and it worked. The seller would accept the note, confident that it could be exchanged for gold. This was the beginning of the gold standard, a system where paper stood in for treasure. Trust was crystallized on parchment. The gold standard brought unprecedented financial stability. Every note had to be backed by physical gold, anchoring the economy in real, tangible assets. Governments couldn't print money without storing an equivalent amount of gold. The stronger your gold reserves, the stronger your currency. But crises came, and wars erupted. During global conflicts, nations printed money in excess to fund their armies. The gold was finite, the ink was not. The imbalance began. Soon, there wasn't enough gold to redeem all the money circulating. People questioned whether the paper in their hands was truly worth anything. The foundations began to crack. Humanity had traveled from barter to commodity money, from gold to paper, all in pursuit of a more efficient medium of exchange. Now it stood at a critical crossroads, where value would no longer reside in material, but in belief. While developing nations scramble for IMF funding, face strict conditions, and pay high interest rates, the United States enjoys uninterrupted access to global capital. Like a magnet pulling iron filings, every oil transaction funnels dollars back to Wall Street and Washington. And in doing so, it empowers America to finance military operations, invest in innovation, and project influence without resorting to austerity or dependency. This isn't just smart economics, it's a masterclass in monetary statecraft. The petrodollar turned America into both issuer and borrower, lender and beneficiary, all at once. To preserve some order, the Bretton Woods Agreement was signed in 1944. 44 countries agreed to peg their currencies to the US dollar, the only currency still backed by gold. The US, holding over 70% of the world's gold, became the financial anchor of the modern world. It was a system of last hope, trusting one country to stabilize many. But concentrating trust also meant concentrating risk. As the US dollar rose in prominence, so did its responsibilities. The world demanded more dollars to trade and store, yet America's gold reserves were limited. The math didn't add up. To meet global demand, the US had to print beyond its gold reserves. Just like others had done before, the illusion began to fade. Even the world's strongest economy couldn't uphold the promise forever. In 1971, under mounting economic pressure, President Nixon made a groundbreaking announcement. The U.S. would no longer allow gold redemption for dollars. The Nixon shock shattered the last remnants of the gold standard. The Bretton Woods system collapsed. Every currency on Earth became fiat, meaning its value now relied solely on governmental declaration and public belief. A new financial era had arrived. So what gives money value if not gold? Quite simply, a government's word. When a nation issues a note and proclaims, "This is legal tender," the note becomes money. Not because it's precious, but because society accepts it. Value emerges from laws, from consensus, from shared faith in systems. Fiat money was a triumph of collective belief over physical asset. The word fiat stems from Latin, "let it be done." Like kings commanding their subjects, governments declared paper to be currency. No gold, no silver, just authority and compliance. This was a leap into abstraction, a transition from tangible value to psychological value. But therein lies the danger. If everything depends on trust, what happens when trust dissolves? The birth of fiat money didn't just change economics, it reshaped human thought. We no longer measured value by physical weight or rarity, but by a collective agreement. Money became a symbol, a signal, a shared belief. It offered flexibility, policy power, and speed, but also sowed seeds of fragility. A powerful tool if handled wisely, a loaded weapon if misused. Imagine a world where value doesn't stem from what you can hold, weigh, or melt, but from something far more powerful: collective belief. That's fiat money. It isn't backed by gold or silver. It holds no intrinsic value. Its worth comes from a simple declaration: this is money. And astonishingly, we all accept it. The power of fiat money lies not in the ink or the paper, but in the trust we place in the system that issues it. It is value conjured by consensus, a masterpiece of shared imagination made real through law and daily usage. The word fiat originates from Latin, meaning "let it be done." Historically, kings and emperors would use this word to issue commands, to make laws, to shape nations. Fiat money is born of the same principle. The government says, "Let this be currency," and it becomes so. There is no gold vault ensuring its value, no silver bar behind each note, just law, force, and trust. In this way, fiat money represents the ultimate form of soft power, a social contract where all participants agree that this piece of paper, or this number on a screen, has value. But why do people accept this kind of money? The answer lies in the power of stable institutions. When a government is strong, credible, and transparent, its currency becomes trustworthy. People use it to save, invest, and build futures. Fiat money doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's tethered to legal systems, central banks, and societal structures. The value of a currency reflects the confidence people place in their country's leadership and economic stability. Like cables holding up a suspension bridge, this invisible trust keeps the whole structure from collapsing. Lose those cables, and everything crashes down. We've seen this collapse in real time. In places like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, hyperinflation didn't just destroy currency, it destroyed livelihoods. Citizens held trillions in notes that couldn't buy a loaf of bread. When the trust in government dies, fiat money turns to ash. The paper remains, but the meaning evaporates. That's the Achilles heel of fiat. It lives and dies by perception. If confidence in leadership, institutions, or economic strategy falters, so does the currency. No vault, no commodity, no collateral can save it. Fiat is fragile, resilient when protected, but catastrophic when abandoned. On the flip side, in well-governed nations with sound monetary policies, fiat money becomes a powerful tool. It allows governments to manage interest rates, respond to recessions, stimulate growth, and support innovation. Unlike gold, which is limited and inert, fiat money is dynamic. It gives leaders the flexibility to adapt, to cushion economies from shocks, to launch programs that uplift societies. It's not valuable because it's scarce. It's valuable because a whole ecosystem defends its value daily. Regulators, banks, courts, and the people who choose to believe in it, use it, and build upon it. No tanks, no drones, just Treasury Department memos and swift network blacklists. Nations like Iran, Venezuela, and Russia have faced the full force of this financial warfare. Once excluded from dollar-based systems, their economies spiral. Inflation soars, trade halts, currencies collapse. The world watches and takes notes. The lesson? Defy the U.S. monetary order, and you risk economic exile. The petrodollar doesn't just reward compliance, it punishes rebellion. It's the invisible battlefield where entire nations can be brought to their knees without a single missile launch. The greatest advantage of fiat money is flexibility. Governments no longer need to mine gold or hoard precious resources to increase their money supply. When economies face crises, fiat allows central banks to inject capital, lower interest rates, and stimulate growth. This adaptability enables swift responses to recessions, disasters, and financial shocks. Unlike rigid gold-backed systems, fiat money empowers policymakers with tools to stabilize markets, rescue industries, and protect jobs. It is a financial lifeline when used wisely, a modern marvel that helped nations survive pandemics, wars, and collapses. Flexibility in this context becomes both shield and sword. Fiat money is also cost-efficient. There's no need to transport tons of metal or verify gold content in every transaction. With digital fiat systems, trillions of dollars move across the globe with the tap of a finger. Governments gain precise control over monetary policies, interest rates, and currency supply, a toolkit for shaping national destiny. In the right hands, fiat money becomes a driver of infrastructure, innovation, and social progress. It's not just paper, it's potential, ready to be activated by visionary leadership and strategic planning. In a world that changes fast, fiat speed is its secret weapon. But with great power comes great risk. Because fiat money can be printed at will, it can also be abused. History offers cautionary tales: Zimbabwe's trillion-dollar bills, Venezuela's currency collapse. When governments lose discipline, inflation spirals out of control, turning savings to dust and economies to chaos. Fiat's strength lies in trust, but its weakness lies in temptation. Without transparency and fiscal responsibility, it becomes a ticking time bomb. Unlike gold, which resists inflation by nature, fiat money depends on political will. Mismanagement doesn't just erode value, it erodes lives, and the damage can take generations to repair. At its core, fiat money is built on faith, and that's both its brilliance and its flaw. It's not backed by assets, but by institutional integrity and public confidence. When leadership falters or corruption spreads, the foundation weakens. Fiat gives nations incredible power, but it demands even greater responsibility. Used wisely, it fuels growth, unity, and stability. Abused, it breeds inequality, distrust, and collapse. In the end, fiat money is a mirror reflecting the soul of a nation. Its future depends not on paper or policy, but on the principles of those who hold the pen. The history of money is a story of constant evolution, from barter to shells, gold to paper, and now to belief. Every chapter was born from necessity, from the limitations of the last system, but evolution never sleeps. In today's digital era, a new contender has emerged: cryptocurrency. Unbound by borders, unregulated by governments, empowered by decentralized trust, it challenges the very core of fiat's supremacy. Built on code, scarcity, and blockchain transparency, crypto promises to rewrite the rules. Whether it's Bitcoin or stablecoins, one thing is clear: the monopoly of fiat money is no longer unshakable. Cryptocurrency was born from skepticism, a reaction to the 2008 financial crisis, to broken systems and shattered trust. Bitcoin, with its limited supply and decentralization, offers something fiat cannot: immunity from manipulation. Some countries like El Salvador have already embraced it as legal tender, but volatility remains its Achilles heel. One day, your coffee costs 0.001 BTC, the next, it costs double. For now, most people treat crypto like gold, as an investment, not a currency. Until stability and usability improve, fiat remains king. But crypto's rise signals a powerful truth: the world is hungry for alternatives. Fiat isn't vanishing overnight. Its advantages, speed, infrastructure, legal recognition, remain unmatched. But it must adapt. Governments worldwide are exploring central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, a fusion of fiat legitimacy and crypto technology. These state-backed digital coins aim to offer the best of both worlds: secure, traceable, programmable money with regulatory oversight. CBDCs could redefine modern finance, eliminate intermediaries, and make cross-border payments instant. The future of fiat may not be paper. It may be encrypted. What matters most is whether it continues to earn trust in this new digital battlefield. Survival depends on evolution. The future of fiat money won't be determined by technology alone, but by trust. If governments remain transparent, competent, and accountable, fiat will endure. But if corruption spreads and crises multiply, people will seek refuge in alternatives. Fiat is standing at the edge of reinvention. Its fate depends on leadership, policy, and our collective belief. This isn't just an economic question, it's a moral one. Will we use money to divide or unite, to manipulate or uplift? The next chapter in money's history is unwritten, and the pen rests in our hands. Fiat money is more than just a tool of exchange. It's a monument to humanity's ability to create value through shared trust. Though not backed by gold, its strength lies in the credibility of governance and institutional integrity. In a volatile world, fiat money is both an opportunity and a test. If managed transparently and responsibly, it will remain a foundation for prosperity. But if that trust erodes, the system may collapse from within. The fate of money, then, is not written in gold. It's inscribed in the choices we make and the trust we keep.